I'll begin by announcing some very good news. I was recently awarded some money from the CIA. I am now proudly employed by the CIA. That is only a joke, please. I do not wish to get in any kind of legal trouble for that claim. Merely a joke. If you paid attention to what some ding-dongs are saying on Twitter, you might have the impression that that's true. You might have the impression that all of a sudden I am the biggest CIA bootlicker, the CIA ass kisser. So it all started with this adorable little clip. Argument is here just
Hunter,
because they
honestly, I don't even know how to have a conversation with you because you live in a fantasy world. Like I just didn't imagine having to come here and explain to you, hey, the CIA is nefarious. Like literally the same intelligence community that was responsible for the overthrowing multiple.
if you don't trust the CIA, then who do you trust? If you don't trust like our intelligence systems, then who do you trust?
Are you serious? Do you genuinely trust the CIA?
I'm asking you who you trust.
75%.
Do you trust them? Do you trust them 50%?
Why the fuck would I trust?
So this clip right here, basically people getting super triggered because I said, if you don't trust the CIA, who do you trust? Now, I understand that this clip, it doesn't look optically great, especially to a more like lefty base or whatever. And I also understand how it might sound or it can be interpreted possibly as me saying you should just blindly trust the CIA. Although this is only a 1-minute clip, I never said that. In fact, I say the opposite. I go on to say the opposite within this part of the debate. So this was the clip that started it all. If you can't trust the CIA, then who can you trust? However, I think that this is a fair question to ask. The CIA provides our government with vital information pertinent to foreign policy and foreign affairs. There are things the CIA does that benefits America and keeps Americans safe. They provide us with information. First of all, they provide information to other parts of government that can inform foreign policy, and they also provide information to us, the common people. For example, they release a yearly World Fact Book. They publish this book with facts, statistics, and information about these foreign areas. And this fact book is considered very reliable, and it's used in academic circles. I kind of clarified here. This is the tweet that kind of started it all. Is the CIA perfect? No. Have they had scandals in the past? Yes. But there's no denying that the CIA has access to resources that ultimately deliver superior and more accurate data and insights. Logging off now. So I want to explain a little bit more what I mean by this. The CIA, it is undeniable, has access to the resources to deliver information that we don't have. I wrote some stuff down. All right, let's start with the basics. What is the CIA? The CIA and FBI are both members of the U.S. intelligence community. The CIA, however, has no law enforcement function. Rather, it collects and analyzes information that is vital to the formation of U.S. policy, particularly in areas that impact the security of the nation. In fact, the CIA is broken into multiple divisions. So there's 4 divisions of the CIA. There's the Directorate of Operations, the Directorate of Intelligence, the Directorate of Administration, and the Directorate of Science and Technology. Far too often, people think of the CIA as an independent agency that's just doing whatever it wants, acting however it pleases, no accountability. But I'm sorry, I know, so spicy, that's just not true, okay? The CIA answers to the executive branch. The CIA is ultimately a tool of the executive branch. CIA operations are overseen, and when covert actions are considered, oversight and approval is necessary. Britannica, non-biased encyclopedia. The CIA often has been portrayed by its critics as an agency run amok that implements covert operations without the approval of the executive branch of the US government. Contrary to that assertion, however, all covert operations must be officially sanctioned by the executive branch. Once approved by the National Security Council, plans for covert action are presented to the Senate and House committees that oversee CIA operations. The CIA also sought the Bush administration's specific approval of enhanced interrogation techniques. So you'll notice that even when the CIA has been engaged in illegal and fucked up behavior that has happened. I'm not denying that. But even when that's happened, it's largely because they were commanded to by the executive branch. This might be an issue within the chain of command. Try to remember, the CIA is not just this independent agency doing whatever it wants. It is a tool of the executive branch. It can be used for good and it can be used for bad. The CIA is a member of the United States intelligence community, okay? And they both report to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. And then this reports to the executive branch. Part of the reason that there are so many misunderstandings about the CIA is because back in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the CIA was involved in a lot of abuses of power. They were involved in a lot of illegal activity. It was disgusting, the kind of shit they engaged in. You'll hear all kinds of scary stories. Many of them are actually true about the CIA engaging in MK Ultra was one of the experiments you'll hear brought up a lot, where they were giving people LSD without their knowledge. There's all kinds of fucked up shit that the CIA was involved in. So that's first where the large untrust of the CIA comes from, but then that's oftentimes followed by, and Shuon had said this herself, that, oh, and there's no reform. We should just trust them? Why? What happened? These people don't read. I'm sorry, they don't. Let's read about this. So the U.S. Congress has had oversight responsibilities over the CIA since the agency was established in 1947. However, prior to the mid-1970s, oversight responsibilities resided in the armed service committees of both chambers and were less formal than they are now. So originally there was oversight, but it was not nearly good enough, and that is what partially allowed for the CIA to get away with so much of the fucked up shit it did. Following allegations of wrongdoing by U.S. intelligence agencies, the Senate established the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence on May 19th, 1976. The House of Representatives followed suit on July 14th, 1977 by creating the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. These committees, along with the Armed Services, as well as the Foreign Relations and Foreign Affairs committees, were charged with authorizing the programs of the intelligence agencies and overseeing their activities. Executive Order 11905. It prohibited any member of the U.S. government from engaging or conspiring to engage in any political assassination anywhere in the world. Now let's look at covert operation, because this is another reason why a lot of people are really paranoid about the CIA. And upon reading like what the definition of covert action is, it definitely sounds a little like, that's a little weird. A covert operation is a military operation intended to conceal the identity of or allow plausible denial by the party that instigated the operation. So you might wonder, though, why do they do these covert operations? And it has been argued that it reduces the likelihood of war and attacks. So according to a 2018 study by University of Chicago politician scientist Austin Carson, covert operations may have the beneficial effect of preventing escalation of disputes into full-blown wars. He argues that keeping military operations secret can limit escalation dynamics as well as insulate leaders from domestic pressures while simultaneously allowing them communicating their interest to the adversary and keeping a war contained. There is absolutely a benefit in this action. Can it be abused? Yes. But once again, this only proves that the CIA is a tool. President Ronald Reagan issued Executive Order 12333 titled United States Intelligence Activities in 1984. This order defined covert action as special activities, both political and military, that the U.S. government could legally deny. The CIA was also designated as the sole authority under the 1991 Intelligence Authorization Act, and in Title 50 of the United States Code section, it says, the CIA must have a presidential finding issued by the President of the United States in order to conduct these activities under the Hughes-Ryan Amendment to the 1991 Intelligence Authorization Act. These findings are then monitored by the oversight committees in both the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives. As a result of this framework, the CIA, quote, receives more oversight from the Congress than any other agency in the federal government. I know that there's going to be a lot of people seething right now, but this is why I laugh at everybody who's malding on Twitter is I am once again being attacked for telling the truth. So you'll hear stuff about CIA officials who don't face charges. Quite often you'll hear stuff like this. And a lot of the times this is brought up by lefties who use it to argue or further try and prove their point that the CIA is completely corrupt through and through and cannot be trusted whatsoever. However, again, we have to understand, why were the CIA agents engaged in this behavior? Were they acting independently? No, they were following legal guidance in memos that were given to them. And that's why they didn't face charges. So that's the first thing I want to go over, is that the CIA has extensive oversight and extensive, there's a lot of other factors at play. This is a huge multifaceted agency, and the takes that I've seen on Twitter are so fucking terminally online. It's hilarious. People arguing that the whole organization is full of pedophiles. So the other reason that people get really mad is the drug trafficking stuff. You will hear repeatedly about how the CIA put crack cocaine in black communities. You will hear this all the time. But this is also just not true. It's funny because even on Twitter, where everybody's so mad and so triggered, even Shoe on Head herself, this one right here, the CIA and the crack cocaine/crack epidemic. So what people don't know, and they never really bring up because they don't know this, they saw this in a Twitter headline and then they share it because CIA bad, is actually that there were not one, not two, but 3 federal investigations into these claims that all came back unfounded, okay? So a lot of this myth stems from the San Jose Mercury News article, which was written by Gary Webb. And this is what told the story that the CIA was behind this massive crack cocaine epidemic, specifically in black communities. Once these articles came out that alleged that the CIA was involved in drug trafficking crack cocaine into black communities, this created massive uproar. People were furious, and rightfully so. An allegation like that deserves to be looked into. In the weeks following publication, Webb's peers doubted the merit of the articles. Fellow journalists at the Washington Post and New York Times, and Webb's own editor, maybe the CIA deep state got him, accused him of blowing a few truths up into a massive conspiracy. Among Webb's fundamental problems was his implication that the CIA lit the crack cocaine fuse. It was conspiracy theory, a neat presentation of reality that simply didn't jibe with real life. Webb later agreed in an interview that there is no hard evidence that the CIA as an institution or any of its agent employees carried out or profited from drug trafficking. Following Webb's allegations, Frederick Hitz, he was the CIA Inspector General, he conducted the investigation. So this is where people get the claim that the CIA investigated the CIA. What they don't realize is that he is an independent watchdog approved by Congress. And then they released a declassified version of Hitt's 2-volume report. So first there's that. Then there's also, on Gary Webb's own fucking Wikipedia page, you can just read about the various reports that were done. The Department of Justice Inspector General's report was released on July 23, 1998. We did not find that their activities were responsible for the crack cocaine epidemic in South Central Los Angeles, much less the rise of crack throughout the nation, or that they were a significant source of support for the Contras. So that was the first report. Then there was the CIA report. It found nothing to support the claim that drug trafficking activities were motivated by any commitment to support the Contra cause or Contra activities undertaken by CIA. It noted that these guys claimed to have donated money to Contra sympathizers in Los Angeles, but found no information to confirm that it was true or that the agency had heard of it. Then there was a House committee report. The House Intelligence Committee issued its report in February 2000. According to the report, it used Webb's reporting and writing as key resources in focusing and refining the investigation. The report concluded that it was not sufficient to finance the organization and did not consist of millions, contrary to the claims of the Dark Alliance series. This support was not directed by anyone within the Contra movement who had any association with the CIA, and the committee found no evidence that the CIA or the intelligence community was aware of these individuals' support. It also found no evidence to support Webb's suggestion that several other drug smugglers? Am I okay right now, Hunter? You good, buddy? You need to take a time out? Smugglers mentioned in the series were associated with the CIA. Ooh. Ouch. That hurts, man. 3 unique federal investigations all coming up empty. But the legend persists. The myth persists. So what leftists oftentimes engage in when criticisms of our institutions, and it's funny because leftists don't do this, are not unique in doing this, actually. It's right-wingers that do this as well. They are engaged in a formal fallacy called the genetic fallacy. The genetic fallacy is a fallacy of irrelevance that is based solely on someone's or something's history, origin, or source rather than its current meaning or context. This overlooks any difference to be found in the present situation, typically transferring the positive or negative esteem from the earlier context. So yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Now that we have a little bit of context and nuance, now that we recognize that, hey, reforms have taken place. Hey, the CIA and the covert action that it engages in does actually have some benefits here to national security. Hey, the CIA does actually seem to provide pretty accurate information when it comes to their world fact book. So much so that it's literally being used by academics to this day. So don't tell me that because there were bad things that happened in the past, or because there were scandals, or because they were engaged in abuses of power in the past, which they were, I'm not denying that, don't tell me that because of that, we cannot trust the CIA today. I don't like that line of reasoning at all. It's fallacious and it's unconvincing. This kind of started with Shoe on Head probably making her dumbest tweet yet. If I'm being fair. So I made my tweet about it. Is the CIA perfect? No, but you know, they do have access to superior resources. And keep in mind, what's funny is I believe that even Vaush agreed with me on this.
So, for example, like the kind of reports that come out from the CIA, like sometimes there's info there that literally only the CIA or comparable agencies could acquire because there are intelligence agencies, you know? Like sometimes there is info where you have no source but them. And sometimes you shouldn't trust that info, at least not at face value. But sometimes it's I think, more reasonable, depending on the interests involved, the potential biases, conflicts of interest, that kind of stuff. So what Hunter is asking right now is, who do you trust? Like, where do you get your info from? And Nico has to have a good answer for this, because if he doesn't trust the CIA to provide any info, there does need to be another institution, another, like, place from which he gets his information.
That just sounded like Vaush reiterating my position and why I was correct in asking that question. But I don't see Shoe on Head or anyone else for that matter getting super mad at him. But she says, please just go back to being a MAGA kid if this is the road you're on. I get that it's like LOL, funny roast, ha ha ha, but if you think about it, this is a really fucking stupid statement. What you're essentially saying is you would rather have me be homophobic and transphobic and spread like racist ideas on my channel instead of being way more socially progressive and also being like, hey, the CIA isn't actually like completely as bad as you guys are saying it is, and a lot of this seems to be based on misinformation. Oh my god, someone in here unironically saying that Vaush is a CIA op. You people are deranged. I can't. You know what? It's not fair. It'd be ableist to engage with you any further. So anyway, this is just a really fucking stupid tweet though from Shoe on Head. Actually, like, unironically dumb. Bad take. And it also really shows where her priorities are. Like, Shoe on Head seems to be more interested now in elites bad and institutions bad, which is a new one a little bit, than let's fight homophobia, let's fight transphobia, let's fight racism. Okay, that's fine. But if you'd really rather have people being a MAGA person than someone that's like willing to acknowledge that the CIA is far from perfect, but also is like, hey, a lot of this is based on misinformation, and they do have superior and more accurate data and insights at the end of the day. They do. It's so, yeah, this is your brain on populism. Never, not populism, not even once. It is brain rot. And then Shoe on Head goes on to reveal how terminally online she is. Scandals, the entire CIA needs to be abolished. Are you fucking crazy? You realize that, like, every country has an intelligence agency. This is necessary for the fucking protection of your country. The entire CIA needs to be abolished. Oh, Jesus, dude. This is so stupid. This is why I responded, touch grass. Holy shit. Okay, so she brings up this story. CIA files say staffers committed sex crimes involving children. They weren't prosecuted. And I feel that my response was quite fair. I said, How does this disprove that the CIA has access to superior info? Anybody that engages in any kind of sexual crime involving children deserves to be brought to their knees by the law and largely by society. Yes. These people are scumfucks. We can recognize that this is disgusting, but I just don't think that this discredits the entire CIA by any stretch of the measure, which is what Shoeonhead was trying to do. Not being prosecuted is a problem, and we can talk about that, but they were still fired. They still left the agency. It wasn't like they were kept on board. Do you know, for example, that among this investigation, they also found people that had child porn, not just that worked at the CIA, but also people that worked at the Pentagon? Are we going to say the entire government now is controlled by pedophiles? Are we going to go the Pizzagate QAnon direction? Go back to being a MAGA kid. I said, why? So we'd have more to agree on? Has the CIA ever done anything anyone is proud of? That is a laughable, hilarious statement you've made, and it shows that you know nothing about the day-to-day kind of attacks that have been prevented because of the information provided to us, the type of foreign policy that we have because of the information the CIA has provided to us, the information that we understand about across the world because of the information the CIA has provided to us. That is a laughable statement you would make. Hilarious. I don't know, man. I guess, yeah. I got ratioed, guys, so that means I'm wrong. Never forget, they hated Jesus because he told the truth. This was the guy that actually put the fucking tweet out on me that started getting shared around and started the whole thing.
Hey, what's going on? This is Chris Legion. One of my tweets went viral, and it's a pretty funny tweet. Pretty crazy. So early today, I was watching a debate with Nico House and this new kid named Hunter Avalon. I hope I'm saying it right, Avalon. Now, I don't want to go after the kid. The kid's a young kid. He's new.
I'm a new kid, guys. I'm the new kid on the block. Thank you, Chris Legion, for not sending your legion of cucks after me, because I'm the new kid on the block. If you don't trust our institutions, then who the fuck do you trust?
If you don't trust our institutions, then who do you trust? Okay, so
please, wait, are you gonna answer?
Yeah, that's something you probably don't want to ask a black person, if why they don't trust the institutions that enslaved them and institutionally put Jim Crow laws on them and really done a lot of terrible things.
Wait, did the CIA put Jim Crow laws in place? Am I missing something? Did I miss that part of history class? Oh, wait, he's saying our entire government institution is corrupt. Interesting. So why is the election secure again? Why are you getting the vaccine again? Why do you care that the FDA has approved the vaccine? After all, if our entire institutions are corrupt because at one point the government had Jim Crow, then I would actually want to know, who the fuck do you trust? Nope, I'm done with the CIA arc. Unless someone comes in on my chat saying some dumb shit, then we can talk. But either way, I have completely vindicated myself. I have revealed that I know immensely more about the CIA and how it operates than any of these dipshits on Twitter do. And that Vaush, in fact, parallels a lot of my positions, despite what a lot of lefties would like to believe. And that anybody saying abolish the CIA is probably so disillusioned, they probably shouldn't even be allowed on the internet at that point. Like, they're too far gone. It's bad for their mental health. They should probably just be in a padded room. No offense, Shu, but it's for your own good. It's for the populist brain rot. Exactly. We'll throw that in there too. I don't know. The CIA will make something up, but they'll get you locked up for some reason or another.